All right, what is happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. This is another episode of Fight Talk, and as always, I'm joined with my bro K West. And there's no fight. Well, there was some ONE FC fights and whatnot, but there's no UFC or anything. But we still want to talk some fights.
Of
Upcoming
course.
card next week, and just generally geek out about fights. But how you been, bro? First things first, how you doing, man?
I'm I'm well. I've been haven't stopped since I got back from my travels. Landed myself a new job as well, like an online remote job.
Oh, wicked! Congratulations. I remember like last week or the week before, you were putting it out there trying to get an online job for you to make a bit of money here and there, and you got it. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah. It was within this week. Got it. It's digital marketing. So an area that I like anyway. And it's like consulting for this company, um, for for other companies for digital marketing solutions. So it's essentially it's sales, but it's like more consultative, meeting based. Like no cold calling, not chasing people. So good environment, I think.
All right, cool. And it's kind of in the field that I'm in, like advertising, but a bit different. Is it involving social, or is it involving like Google search and all that sort of stuff?
So the company, Biz Plus, they offer services such as social media marketing, SEO, logo design, graphic design. So it's all of these solutions that companies might need, and I think they have like a list of clients who are interested, and I'll just go ahead and call them, and we'll have a meeting.
Oh, nice. All right, that sounds great, bro. Is that 9 to 5, or is that like a?
No, it's meeting based, so it's like it's on it depends on the days you want to do the how many meetings you want to have in a day, this kind of thing. So it's as and when situation. Um, so it's commission based, which is like a bit of a but at the same
Mm.
time, it's like everything else is exactly what I want. And it could be quite fruitful. So we'll see. We'll see. I need to go and see how it feels first before I like really get excited.
Yeah.
But so far, it's like okay, this ticks many boxes. So we'll see, man.
Oh, that's awesome, bro. And then you mentioned tomorrow you're going to Mexico for mom's birthday, right?
Yeah, 70th birthday in 2 days.
Amazing.
We're going tomorrow, Cancun. Hopefully the volcanic business, like eruption, doesn't affect anything because that's it's like world news. And there were planes in. I think they closed the airport in Mexico City. I'm going to Cancun, by the way, not Mexico. Um, well, area. So I think week and a half ago, they closed the airport down. They evacuated some places, so it's a little bit touch and go. So we had to call up and find out what's going on, and they said no, everything is okay, but we'll let you know like right up into the last minute. Because I was like, look, mom, get ahead of this so we can pick another location and just forget all of this because it's going to turn into a whole mess. You're going to try to call them for 5 hours because everyone's blocked on the line trying to get hold of them for the
Mm.
same process. But this, you know, respectively switch trips. And she said, no, it's all fine. So we're going.
All right, awesome. Well, hopefully that there's no effects there, man. I didn't even know, maybe because I don't watch the news or whatnot, but I didn't even know that there was something going on there
I
in regards to
didn't know
volcanic and stuff.
either. It was told to me. It was told to me, and I was like, "You still gonna go here? You crazy?" I was like, "Shit, maybe you shouldn't." but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it seems to be okay. I was still a bit doubtful of it, but I was like, okay, well, if they know what they're doing, then they know what they're doing, right? Right.
Hey, just hopefully it should be cool. If they give the go ahead that you're good to go, then you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the
Yeah,
airlines, the hotel, not the yeah, the travel agencies or whatever the hell it was.
yeah. I mean, we all know that they're just trying to make money at the end of the day, so we'll see.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's me, man. What about your side of things? How's another week, another month in the land of Dubai?
Yeah, yeah. This week was cool. What happened this week? Just busy week with work and training. Same. You know, nothing too crazy this week. It's been a good week. Trying to think. No, same, man. It's been all good. You know what I mean? Still trying to train, still trying to keep it up, still trying to, enjoy this place of Dubai. I was thinking the other day because I done jiu-jitsu. So what happened was I done Monday wrestling, and I was sparring, right? And then I Tuesday, my body's busted. Grappling sparring always gets me, right? Done Tuesday MMA, done Wednesday jiu-jitsu, and now I'm even more busted, right? Because I'm getting with wrestling, at least in one way, it's hard. Just scrambling, trying to not to get pinned and whatnot. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, you can kind of lie on the floor and just kind of hip escape, move around or whatnot. But with jiu-jitsu, what the problem is I'm getting squashed with a 70 kg plus people. I'm talking about everyone 70 kg plus, and then the earth, right? And then it's me, little old 58 kg me in between, yeah? So I always leave that class with, I'm not even joking, like shoulder hurting, neck hurting, my spine hurts. Like I can literally feel like a vertebrae bruised, right? And I'm just thinking, man, how am I ever going to improve in jiu-jitsu if I'm busted after a sparring session? So I'm just thinking I might speak to the coach and say, look, I want to come to more classes, but can I just please do the technique and the specific training, and then only spar once a week, which would be like the Wednesday, and then I can have a couple of days off from sparring. That way, I feel like I could go to the class more often, learn the technique and all that sort of stuff. Because I can't train the next day. I could do boxing, it's not too bad, but my body is busted and I can't sleep well that night. And I'm just like, I can't keep this up, I wish there were smaller sparring partners that could always just say, look, I'll spar with you guys, but that's not the case. It's everyone's just bigger and I'm just getting crushed. And like I say, when I come out and I can literally touch one of the vertebrae and know and feel that vertebrae specifically is bruised, I'm like, over time that's going to deteriorate and something's going to happen. I've heard Eddie Bravo and his spinal. I'm not on that level, but I could just imagine that them just sparring. And I used to do that all the time in my early 20s and whatnot. But now I just can't do it. And I want to train more jiu-jitsu and learn more, but I can't because after I spar once, I'm busted. I remember Faraz Sahabi was saying though on Joe Rogan's podcast, he goes like, you do want to limit your 100% sparring to once a week because of exactly this case. He goes, if you just train 5 days a week and you do 20% or just flow sparring, you just train 5 hours in the day. However, if you just done 1 hour and you've done a hard sparring and you're busted for the whole week, you've just trained 1 hour in the week. So I'm just trying to use that, and I need to speak to the coach and say, would you mind if I just not spar in these classes, and then on the Wednesday one, that will be my sparring day, and and whatnot. So I feel like I'm missing out a lot just because I just my body can't take it anymore with the hard sparring. But other than that, I'm still trying to bump into Hamza. My guy's still there. I think he's moved here, I think he's moved to Dubai. I saw a little documentary that TK MMA Fit put together of his journey here and whatnot. And I think he's moved here. Yeah. So that's exciting. And he's training at this gym that I'm at. I'm not one of the best fighters on the planet. I mean, he's not a champion yet, but he's shown the potential to be one of the scariest and best dominant fighters so far. Yeah, I mean, except the fight with Gilbert Burns where he just wanted to scrap. But outside of that, I mean, he's at the gym and it's kind of sick. Like, and I'm like, I wish I could, like, I've seen him. I'm just like, I just want a moment to just say, Salam alaikum, brother. Can I get a picture or something? But I haven't had that moment yet, bro, because he's training and there's no way I'm going up to him and disturbing him while he's training. So yeah, no, other than that, man, it's been cool, man. It's been a cool week.
Remember you were saying you probably would do well to go get some we've been talking about it for a while. Go get some therapy done on a regular, because you're doing that out here getting crushed and folded and stuff. You need to get ironed out, my friend.
Yeah, you're right. I've looked into it. It's what, it's two things. One is time and two is money. It's expensive, man. It's expensive. I remember and you're talking about proper therapy, like sports therapy, not just a massage. I know a massage, yes, it'll be beneficial, but we're talking about proper deep tissue massage. And they, to get a proper sports deep tissue massage, you're gonna have to go to a specialist place. That's gonna cost. I used to in Hong Kong and Singapore, just go to a regular place, pay cheap price, and get a nice Thai massage and whatnot. But then I'd be like, it's nice, but I need the sports massage. I need you to dig the elbows into my back and my legs, and that hurts. But they cost more. You got to go to a specialist like yourself, or just someone who's a sports therapist specialist who knows, all right, your hair really to like you said, get all the
It
knots
hurt.
out. Yeah, but it costs a lot of
Okay.
money, man. It's just an extra fee. I mean, I'd be real with you though. Like the yoga session I do twice a week minimum outside, the flexibility, the mobility, which includes the knees over toes stuff, the rotational stuff, all that sort of stuff, spinal decompression. I do that twice a week. It's a 45-minute session. And then when I'm at the gym, I do like the longevity sort of exercises, like full range of motion exercises. And I do think they've helped a lot in regards to my knees, my shoulders, my back, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I need that form of therapy, but I don't have that. And this is where professionals have the luck, not luxury, but they still go through a lot of shit. But that's why they can train constantly, because they got the good recovery program. I don't have the luxuries of that. You know what I mean?
So that now now it makes sense why you were so keen for me to come down to Dubai because you said it's expensive, right? Which means that it's high demand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I see, I see. So what, do you see many of them around, like sports therapy, chiropractic, physios? Do you see a lot of them around? And if you do, who are they normally run by?
I
In
mean, I haven't looked into it like that,
uh,
to be honest with you. I mean, I've Google searched it and whatnot.
uh,
And when you you have to be specific, right? If I just like put on a spa massage, it's gonna come up with all them other ones, possibly
yeah.
some dodgy ones and all that sort of shit. So you got to put in like,
Woo!
yeah, exactly. You got to put in that sports therapist, massage. There's one place I saw Javier Mendez use actually, which I followed on Instagram. They do like sauna, they do ice baths, and they do therapy. So that's one space I've been looking into. I can't remember what it's called. I gotta find it, but let me see if I can find it. But yeah, that I was like, all right, well, Javier Mendez has gone there.
Mm,
I'm sure it's a legit
legit.
spot. They got ice bath and all that sort of stuff, which is good. So I might go there and do a session sometime. But
Hey.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, all of these things are, they come with a cost.
of course. But then at the same time, like what you don't spend now, you will spend way later and the price will be higher. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. That's true. That's true.
So you might need to figure that one out and have it as a regular spend. You're really training hard. If you're out here 2, 3 days so after training, and you got work to go to, you have a life to live. If that's not your life, like that's rough, man. You need to get that sorted out.
No, you're right. I mean, like I said, I try to focus so much more on recovery
Good.
these days, just because all the injuries I keep going through and whatnot. But
Yeah.
and I try
How
to do that a lot
expensive?
in what's that, sorry?
Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you. I'm gonna ask you, like, how expensive is expensive?
Well, I mean, I just looked at massages and they're talking about minimum of like £100 and stuff like that, right? So if you're talking about £100 per week, it's £400 a month, right? If you're talking about once a month, but then if I want to do sauna, ice bath, and that's like a normal massage. I don't even like even search for a sports
Specific.
massage, yeah, and whatnot specific. So it's gonna
Once a
cost.
month would be enough, though, no? Like, I mean, if you might need to do like the the first session, like a 2 hour, let him really turn you flat.
Yeah.
And then hopefully he's knowledgeable, or her, and they give you all the information you need to do specific stretches, and then you see them once a month. That's that hopefully that's what you best case scenario is what I would suggest.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean I just I guess I need to finance it, you know what I mean? Just put it in the finance or whatnot. I'll never forget this though. It was in London where
Mm.
someone we used to train MMA, and there was a guy, sports therapist there. He was a big dude as well. And I got a massage on my neck and my back. It was the worst thing ever, bro. Because he was not only was he strong, he was doing his job right. So he digged his thumbs into. I'll never forget this. Like what do you call this part? The rhomboids or whatever from the neck to
Ah,
the
yeah.
back.
Uh,
Oh my God, I was in pain. I'm like, bro, this what kind of therapy is this? But I know it's the right thing. You have to break it down. And he would actually tell me that he knows it's hurting. Like 2 more reps. I'm gonna count him down. 10. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, just relax. Don't tense because it makes it worse.
wow.
And I'm just like, And I'm like, he's doing his job, but it's just like it hurts, man. That shit's not yeah, no sports massages and stuff, man. Not easy. But necessary, I guess, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
How crazy is our body? How crazy if you think about it, like our body in most recovery, I don't know most recovery, but in recovery for recovery, it needs to get hurt. It needs to be shocked. Like be it the sports massage, you need to break down the tissue or whatever it is. The sauna, you need to heat your body up to extraordinary temperatures. Like cold plunge, you need to take your body down to really low. All of it to recover. Like all of it to kind of tell your body to be like, this has happened. You need to recover. I don't know the science behind it, but it all seems like you have to hurt yourself to recover. To go gym, you have to break the muscles to make them recover bigger. Like, how crazy is the body? You know what I'm trying to say? And if you just left it and didn't do nothing, your body just breaks down. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, all right, well, I'm not damaging you, I'm resting it, but
Yeah,
it automatically breaks down. You have to break it to strengthen it. Like, what makes
yeah.
you, that's that quote, right? Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's literally do all the things to your body that doesn't kill you and it'll make you stronger. Like, not literally, but
Yeah, to the extreme. Like it's very true. And I remember watching like Dragon Ball Z way back when. Yeah, you probably know where I'm going with this. Like the Saiyans, yeah. And it's like on the brink of death is when they're about to get stronger. And you put them in the bubble chamber, and you see them like getting strong. And it's like I remember seeing that like way back as a kid, teenager, and thinking like that's when it kind of like clicked into my head. Like, okay, just don't go to that far extent, but you have to push your body, to almost like superhuman lengths, to the point that your body can't take it, breaks down, or has to pause in order for it to recover. And it just reminded me of like just comics, just comic
yeah.
books, just the ideology that's what you said is exactly right. We have to go to these lengths to then get stronger, and if we don't do anything, the body then kind of like decays and becomes weak over time. So, and another term that it says, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So it's really funny, but yeah, I enjoy when people are okay to get the deep work, because I know that they're going to be happy afterwards. In the moment, they might like wince and whatnot, but I think certain clients are more into that and certain are not. So um, yeah, it depends on the therapist, isn't it? Some of them are just
Mm.
brutal, like masochistic bastards, man.
Yeah. I guess you gotta build a relationship up with them. You gotta let them know what you're after, and then let them know, and they're gonna tell you as well. Okay, well, I could do this for you, but this is gonna feel this way. Like, but let's compromise in the middle or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's going back to what you were saying. It's something that haven't got a massage since I left Singapore, to be honest with you. But saying that I haven't been injured since I started training here, and I do think, like I said, I do think it's the recovery that I'm doing. I'm focusing a lot, like I said, on the yoga and the full mobility of training, of movement, sorry. Any gym work I do, it is involving like knees over toes and all that sort of stuff. It's
Mm,
fully rotational with my shoulders and all that sort of
mm,
stuff, right? That I've been doing. So nothing like pushing and bench pressing and that shit. It's just more focused on that. And then the
mm,
training, the reason why I think one of the reasons why, like, first of all, I'm not training on the weekends, right? So I finally have a good, say 3 to 4 days of not getting smashed in a grappling training form, right?
mm,
That's
mm,
happening between Monday and Thursday, basically. So I would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Whereas before, I was almost like every 2 days, I would go and do some jujitsu or something, some wrestling, and then my body would get smashed every sort of 2 days, right? Whereas it's not happening here. And also, I have noticed here, and I
mm,
don't know what it is, but I feel like the people here are a bit more humble. No, not humble. Yeah, humble. Like there's less ego here. I feel this a little bit. And the reason why I said, I remember when I first trained, I mean, Hong Kong, forget that, the place is a mess anyway, but Singapore, right? When I first trained at Evolve, the first place I trained at was, the first location was in the city, right? City people and stuff. And I could just never forget. I was trained in that city branch, and it's the best gym. Don't get me wrong, coaches are amazing, best gym, all that sort of shit. Very
mm,
expensive though. But I just remember my first year and a half there before the pandemic hit.
mm,
I never felt welcomed. I've been there for a year and a half, and I don't know anyone here. I go in, I do my training. you know, one or two people might say hello because they recognize my face. I never felt welcomed, right? More welcomed than the Muay Thai, but less, like not as much. Jiu-Jitsu, I didn't know anyone there. I just felt like people, I just didn't feel like I belonged there, but I just went there. I needed to train. I don't care. For a year and a half. And I just felt so much ego. People just wanted to win. People just wanted to, if you got the better of them, they got so upset, all this sort of shit. And then the pandemic hit, and then I had to train at the location near where I lived in Singapore, and that was a bit more of a family, you know, in industrial, not industrial, sorry, residential sort of areas and whatnot, right? So you get more local people going there and stuff. Immediately, I started making a couple of friends here and there, right? Immediately. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, this place is way better. This location is way better. Like people are more nicer and making friends and whatnot. And I was just like, okay, maybe it's the city vibe and whatnot. You know, I made a lot more friends in the second location compared to the first location. So, I mean, a year and a half, and I felt like, you know, these people don't even want to, it's not, like, I just felt very unwelcomed, you know, in the jiu-jitsu, you know, jiu-jitsu is very family orientated type of thing, right? It's very like community. I remember in that location, I would always just sit in the corner by myself, just warming up by myself. Everyone will be in their corner. Everyone else knows each other. They were just talking and whatnot before the class started. And I always, in my head, I was like, I didn't care. I'm not here training. But when I think about it, I'm like, man, I was never welcome there. And, you know, and also like when you know people in jiu-jitsu, like you help each other out. You're not trying to kill each other, all that sort of stuff. What I noticed in this gym where I'm training now, like, okay, the community is a bit different because of, there is the Islamic vibe, but let's put that aside, right? People who are non-Muslim and all that sort of stuff. I just feel like people are
Which is a
nice.
bonus for you, right?
It's a bonus, yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's a bonus, yeah, which is amazing. But putting that aside, just in regards to jiu-jitsu, the coach was very welcoming from day one, just the nicest guy ever. Don't get me wrong, some of the coaches in Evolve was super nice. And some of them, I'm not going to name names. I didn't feel very welcome with them and whatnot. But just the students here, I feel like they're just a lot more humble and whatnot. There's this young kid I was talking to the other day. He was a boxer. 21, he's had a bunch of amateur fights, he's looking to go pro and whatnot. The most like mature dude ever. And I'm like, wow, you're 21, you're very mature. Like you're mature in the way you talk, you're mature in the way you talk to people with respect, you're mature in the way you train boxing. I've seen you spar with people, you don't try and kill them. And again, that's another thing. Like I've seen young fighters who just walk around with a chip on their shoulder like they're the shit. Professionals never. They got nothing to prove. They're always the nicest people ever, right? So you come across a professional fighter, they're always smiling, hey brother, how are you? Da, da, da. Even in Singapore, super nice. But the young amateur fighter was the one that had the chip on his shoulder, right? Who always thought he's a shit. If you got clipped in training, he'll get upset and he'll go for you. Like this young man here, bro, like I've seen the way he trains, and he is very humble with his boxing and all that sort of. Like his last fight, he knocked the dude out and whatnot. But when he's sparring in there, the coach is great. I think I've already said this. The coach is amazing, and he's like, "Fuck your egos. I don't want that shit in my gym and whatnot." And the way this kid spars, like, man, he's humble with it, you know. And I'm just like, man, it's refreshing. So I do think this gym, there's something here where it's a bit more. Egos are checked a bit more, and I do also, you know, I've noticed the coaches are a bit more disciplined here. Again, no offense to all the other coaches and whatnot, but in regards to discipline, like Eddie from Evolve was one of the best MMA coaches I've ever come across, or martial artists I've ever come across. He's very specific. Every movement had a reason, right? It's hard to get a coach like that. However, the discipline here is different. Like the MMA coach, if you're late, he makes you do push-ups and all that stuff. If you talk, he gets at you. Like it's very like, you know, line up and all that sort of stuff. The wrestling coach, same thing. Like you got to be disciplined. You know what I'm trying to say? Like if you like fuffing around and talking to your partner, that you get called out in class. What are you doing? Are you in the class or you not? We got an hour to train. Let's train. Right, and like, very like it's almost like I don't want to say militant, but the guy is ex-military and whatnot, the MMA coach. But I just think the discipline adds a bit more to it as well. So you don't grow up, you don't have this egotistical bullshit. Like I feel like the discipline humbles you a little bit. So I have been less injured so far, but let's see. I don't want to jinx myself, man. It still hurts. It still hurts. I went on a big long rant, but you know what I'm saying.
I was gonna say, you need to get yourself one of these. Hockey ball, lacrosse. Did we talk about this?
I think we've talked about. I've got one of those with it's like a rubber one, but it's got spikes coming out of it and stuff. Like, you know, little spikes. Is that any good or?
That one. That one's good, but basically with this one, yeah. Let's get creative. See, you want to like get it where you need it, right? You see, I'm laying on it, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna like go and find the point where it's tight and kind of roll into it and hold like an elbow, you know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There's a point here, like behind my shoulder blade, which is tight, and I'll just start to manipulate and push and twist, and you'll begin to feel things release. It's at least it's kind of like on your own dime, and it's cheaper, and that's how I normally survive if I don't have if I'm not seeing a therapist myself, which I normally don't. Then I'll just use that and the big foam roller over there,
Mm.
and that does what it needs to do. Obviously, I'm not going through what you're going through. You're getting pressed and thrown around and shit, but it does help to get through some of those tight knots. There's really tight spaces that only are there. You can find it with this.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I did buy one of those massage guns, and I did feel like if you pull on full power and on the narrow point, you could just. But the
You're
back
not
is.
Dolphin. You're not
Yeah,
Dolphin.
yeah, 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 exactly. I wish. Yeah,
Yoga, like.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Well, yeah, man. That's we'll see what happens, man. But so far, the body does feel good at 38. My guy and that young boxer, so he couldn't believe I was
Wait, wait,
38.
wait, 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 wait. 38.
38, bro. You know, you're giving me the same. You didn't come on, man. Come on, bro. You give me the same reaction that young man was giving me, and I was like, "Yeah, bro. I'm 38. I'll show you ID if you want, man." He couldn't believe it either.
I just didn't think. I just see this is Gilman.
Yeah, that's
That's
true. I guess so. Like that's what I'm telling these guys when I'm training because they think I'm young as well, right? And I'm like, well, guys, I'm double. There's this kid. He's 15 years old. I'm like, brother, I'm double your age plus 8,
and
right?
then some.
You
Yeah.
weigh 22 kgs heavier than me.
Oh.
And you're a blue belt as well, so you know what the fuck what you're doing. I'm squashed. I'm just constantly hip escaping. He covered hip escaping, and I got 70. I'm just hip escaping with 70 kgs on me basically. And 20 and then 15, well, maybe like nearly 20 years younger than me, or over 20 years younger than me. Everyone's just young. They just can't believe I'm that old. I can't even believe it, man. And when I speak to these kids, I'm like, wait, you're 15. I could be your dad, bro. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm old, man. I'm old. So my old body can't take it no more. But I'm trying, man. The main thing is I show up. That's why my coach gave me my purple belt because you show up. You keep telling me that you get smashed. You keep telling me that you're hurt, but you're back your hair again every day. I see you. So why don't you deserve this? So that's my main thing. Just keep showing up.
I hear that. I hear that, man. Yeah, no, go get some, go and then find, either get the hockey ball or go and find therapy. But we've been saying this for a while now. Now I know your age. Now I know what you're doing on a regular basis. You damn sure need that shit. 100%, 150 million%. You will get like, permanent scarring and damage to, you already mentioned your vertebrae and your neck, and you don't want that stuff to happen. Like, don't like. At least if you know something's, even if you go and get like a health check and they check your everything, at least you know what's up. But you need to go and find out those things because it's scary.
Yeah, no, bro, I hear you, man. I've heard there was this story that happened in a jiu-jitsu school in the US. I can't remember what it was. The guy got sued for like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. And do you hear about this? Because I think he made him sign a waiver or something, or maybe he didn't sign a waiver, but it was his first ever jiu-jitsu class. They must have rolled wrong, and then the guy got paralyzed. The guy got paralyzed, and then he ended up suing the school for like, I want to say hundreds of millions or something. Literally, it's something that the guy can't afford anyway. But it can be dangerous, and I think that's why they were a lot more stricter in I guess in the US because you could sue anyone for everything. But to sign waivers and all that stuff. But it can be dangerous. Bro, I've been doing it for so long now. Touch wood, I've had the worst injuries. I guess the ankle injury and my MCL was probably the worst. The others were more like, they lasted long, but I wouldn't say. Thank God I haven't had an operation. I didn't need an operation. But yeah, I know, man. I know it. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate that I love this martial arts stuff so much that like, is it unfortunate? I don't know. I love it so much, but I know how much toll it takes on my body. But yeah, I don't know, man. But
You still gonna you still thinking of competing?
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu, I think I won it, man. I mean, maybe in even MMA. I still feel like I got that MMA one in me, but in jiu-jitsu, I think I want to. Honestly, just to spar some of my weight class.
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
I don't care about the tournament. It's like I just want to meet someone my weight class and spar them, please. That's all I want. Because I don't want to. Yeah, keep sparring big guys. There are no small people in my class. Actually, in wrestling sparring, I actually did spar someone smaller than me. He weighed 55 kgs. And he asked me my weight, and he told me his, and I was like, it's the first time I've ever sparred someone 55K. It was so easy, and not to be bad, right? But it felt so easy, like just turning him, just double leg, single leg, taking the back. It felt so easy, because he was smaller than me, and I was like, man, this is what everyone else must feel when they spar with me.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I'm trying to say, like, don't get me wrong, when big white belts spar me, I tell you I get smashed, right? Still, but I give them because I got some skill set, I
Yeah,
can hip step, I can move, I can take the back, they take my back, I can escape.
yeah,
There's all of that back and forth. So it's not as easy. But when a blue belt or a purple belt who's bigger than me, they actually know the movement. So I still scramble, I still move, I still got my defense and whatnot. So they can't get everything on me. They try to get chokes and stuff on me. I could defend them and whatnot. So it's not as easy, but just the control aspect
yeah,
of it, they must think, wow, this is easy. But
yeah.
so it's sparring someone smaller than me felt good. So that's why I want to do a tournament, just to literally spar someone my size.
Did you? That no, for sure. I mean, that makes sense. Have you signed up already? I remember you spoke about signing up at some point. Did you do it?
No, yeah, I'm gonna be going to London in a month. When I
Oh,
come back, I'll be on a good like straight rain. I would have a good time with training, and I could do it then, I guess. I think there's
cool.
tournaments constantly going up on and whatnot. So let me come back from London. Let me ask. What I do want to do is tell the coach that let me train every day and let me just spar once a week and let me just skip the sparring part. If he's cool with that, I'm sure he would be.
I mean,
I
you're paying money, of
What's
course.
that?
Like, surely they're not going to have an objection to that. You're paying money, like it's your decision,
Of
it's your
course,
body, right?
yeah. I just want to
Yeah,
respect his class, I
yeah,
want to
of
respect
course.
his class. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure like it's gonna be like I need to look after myself too. Like, come on, bro.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's why I need to tell him, look, just tell him the truth. Like, I want to train more.
Yeah,
I just can't spar all the time. So if you let me just train more and just skip the sparring part, maybe I could just go home early or just sit there or whatever. That will be good. That way I could just train more and not, and I'll get way more hours basically in doing the technique, doing some specific training. And then when it comes to sparring, I'm like, coach, I'll leave that to once a week.
yeah. Or maybe if he's not busy, you spar with him because the best the best person to spar with is a master because they know exactly how to work your body and so on. So, you know,
Yeah, the higher belts are always the best spar with, but he's
yeah, yeah.
always sparring
Well,
with different people, and yeah, so you'll get a session with him, but you wouldn't get the whole time with him.
sure, sure, sure. Let it be known, man. See what happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, that way I think I can improve so much more. Honestly, I reckon I can because I'll be just putting more hours into jujitsu,
Yeah,
technique
yeah, yeah.
wise. But yeah, man, cool.
Make it happen.
Bo, on
Hmm.
that note, should we talk about some fights, some fight news, upcoming fights? There's been we got some upcoming fights in the UFC, which is next week, Sunday the 4th of June, which is Kaika France versus how do you say his name? Amir Albazi.
Who's that?
He's the dude. I'm trying to remember who he fought last. He's uh gotta check his record, man. Let me check who's fought last.
I
Last
saw
fight was against Costa, December 17th, 2020. Oh shit, he's been out for a while. 2022, sorry.
Okay, so about 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah, he's a brother from Iraq. But Kai France is number 3 in the flyweight. He's number 7 on that card. You got Alex Casera, Bruce Leroy,
Oh shit.
Jim Miller still doing it. Tim
Oh
Elliott.
wow.
Who else is on this card? Abu Bakr. Abu
Okay.
Bakr,
Yeah, yeah.
Habib's guy.
Yes.
You got Andrei Arlovsky. Man, it's a stacked card, you know. I mean, when I say stacked, it's a fun card, man. There's a lot of good people on there that we're familiar with, man. So something excited to watch and look forward to next week. I so Kaika France is number 3. He had that great fight. I mean, he had that great fight with the champion Brenda Moreno.
Yeah, a
Who we
while
got?
ago.
You know,
He
Moreno
beat him,
kind of.
no?
No,
Moreno beat him. No.
yeah, Moreno beat him. Yeah, yeah. I think he caught him with a body shot. It was a kick to
Yes,
the body and whatnot.
finish him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
finish
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember that.
But he's exciting. He's part of that whole crew, Izzy's crew and whatnot. What they call again? The City kickboxing crew.
What's it? Eugene.
Eugene
Eugene.
Berman. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, those guys. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, I forget the name of their team, but badass Kiwis, man.
100%, man.
What else happened? There
There
was
was
an
some other
announcement.
fight. There was some fight announcement. I mean, I keep seeing this one going around. Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman in Abu Dhabi. I keep seeing that going around.
Has it been announced yet? There was something that got announced. Wasn't was it this one?
I mean, I saw this one around a lot, so I don't know if it was properly announced or whatnot. There was all this other bullshit media news. If you saw Dana White's thing, he was cussing the media this week about saying Hamza unfollowed him and unfollowed Darren Till, and Hamza saying this about Dana White. And Dana White's like, the media's so full of shit. He showed his Instagram that him and Hamza are still following each other. It's like the dumbest. The media's like the dumbest thing ever. But anyway, I think Hamzat's definitely, this Abu Dhabi card is going to be full of all the brothers, the Islamic brothers, man. So I really need to get out there as well. But yeah, they're saving him for that, I reckon. They're saving him for that for October. But that guy wants to fight, that guy wants to fight. Apparently, he said that he feels like the UFC are looking after Izzy. They're not giving him the Izzy fight because they're looking after him, protecting him in that sense.
Who said this?
Um, Hamza was saying that apparently. Yeah. I thought he was gonna fight Paulo Costa, no, Paulo Costa, bloody hell. Yeah. But he's fighting a guy called Ikram,
Yeah.
who he's
Yes.
another one of those Dagestani beasts, or one of the brothers from that region. But Hamza fought this Ikram dude in another organization and beat him. Knocked him out with an uppercut or something.
I
When I
saw that.
thought Hamzat was going to be fighting Paulo Costa, I thought that was the fight, but that didn't happen. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, especially because they had that back and forth in the training facility and stuff. Like, it was like building up into a narrative, but I don't know. I mean, I just want to see him get back to that like constant, week in and week out animal that he was before, where next week he was ready, and the week after that he was ready, and he just needed to take a plane and he was ready. That was such an interesting kind of narrative to his, him coming in and just changing the rules. That's what I miss about Hamza.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and just the way he's destroyed people in the first round with that pace of wrestling and just finished them. Like, I mean, apart from Gilbert Burns, and he keeps saying that he wanted to scrap with Gilbert Burns and whatnot. And I don't know what I mean. I think you got to give Gilbert the credit on that one. But the way he's manhandled everyone else is scary, man. And it's like, can he do that to a Kamaru Usman? Can he do that to a Leon Edwards or Israel? And it's like, can he do the same? Like, we don't know, but we don't know if it's yes or no, because you could just blame his. You could just say, well, his opponents are just not on that level. But is that the case? And that's the exciting thing about him, man.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think him and Usman is I'm sure that's almost done. No, I'm sure that's almost done, and then we'll have all the answers that we need. I'm sure that's almost done.
I feel like that's going to be the one in Abu Dhabi. I mean, Usman's mentioned it. Hamzat said that he's up for it.
They both said yes. So like, I'm quite sure it's very close. I'm quite sure. I know I saw something and it gave me the intention that it's close.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What else was announced? Any other fights that were announced? I mean, we spoke about Francis Ngannou. We spoke about the BMF belt, right? We spoke about Poirier and Gaethje too, right?
Yes, we did. Oh, they have Emmett versus Taporia on what card is this? Jacksonville card, June 24th. Which is that?
Okay.
You know that one?
Is that a fight card, yeah?
Uh, yes, it's a fight night.
Okay.
That's been announced. Oh yeah, Jackson. The whole card of Jacksonville has been announced. Marcy Barber's fighting Amanda Ribas. You know about this card, Neil Magny?
Yeah, MFS. Yeah, I see that. I see that on the website. Yeah.
That one's all been announced. I mean, it's probably gonna be, one of those dark horse cards, I think.
Let's see who else is on this card. I mean, that's what I feel like this weekend's card's about as well. One of those dark horse cards, the one that's
Which
coming out.
this week coming?
Yeah, this week coming. Yeah, next week. Sorry.
This week coming is I think so. I mean, so far we haven't been disappointed. We've had some good cards. I think we've had some better uh fight nights than prelims so far.
Some
Well, no,
exciting
no, no,
fight
no.
nights.
It's been a split, huh?
Yeah, some exciting fight nights, man. I mean, this is the good thing about the UFC, or maybe I'm just biased. Like, I know so many more fighters. I'm excited to see some people in the pre. Like, just talking about this week's card, like, just to see, someone like Alex Casera or Jim Miller, I'm excited to see. You know, what I'm trying to say, like, someone like Andre Lasky. Like, there's so many names that the up and coming as well, like legends and also up and coming that you just get excited to see.
Revisit. Yeah, I mean, what I
Not
was
me.
saying is that the prelims have been as good, if not better. Not prelims, sorry. The fight nights have been as good, if not even better, than some of the whole pay-per-views. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, in regards to performance, you mean, or
Yeah, just
even
the people that
fighters.
the fighters, the performances. Like it's been like all round. We've had good fights. Like in the most stacked cards and the ones that are bare bones. It's been exciting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think, like I said, UFC is a marketing machine, right? They're just great at marketing their brand, and the fighters sometimes as well. Like, I know fighters say sometimes they don't get it, but I feel like when you become a superstar, the UFC push that behind you, right? They give you that push in the background. So I don't know, the other organizations, there was a whole thing with PFL one. Bellator, all that sort of stuff. Again, great organization. One is super exciting. Do they have the same marketing machine as UFC? I don't think so. I don't think they do.
They haven't been around that long, and as well as that, like they haven't like become like the roots of MMA, and that's too late. UFC's already taken that, so that's impossible to do. But there's other spaces that all these other organizations can take that the UFC have not touched yet. And there's room, there's space. It depends on. At the end of the day, it does depend on who can bring on the best fighters in the world, and styles make fights and those kind of things. So it's
Yeah.
just
Did you hear like the UFC announced that they made like a profit of like over 200 and something, 80,000, 280 million profit. And this is what apparently way more than all the other MMA organizations put together. We're talking about profit here, not gross and whatnot. Straight profit. I mean, which was last year and everything. So even though ONE FC might get more viewers and all that stuff because they, host the fights on YouTube and people can watch for free, when it comes down to profit, when it comes out to the market machine, the pay-per-views, UFC is on top of the game. And trying to say, and it's hard to beat. And I know people criticizing Dana about gimmicky fights and all that sort of stuff, and he's dealing with power slap. End of the day, he's one of the best promoters in the world, probably the best, right? Pound for pound. He saw something in regards to business, and it's like, I can make a big thing out of this. So why not? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like he didn't get into it because it could be gimmicky and whatnot, but I think he saw potential business out of it and viewership out of it. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna push it to another level. And that's what he's the best at. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and I think he's smart at the fact that boxing. I know he wanted to start for his own boxing, but he probably knows the ins and outs of the bullshit and whatnot. So he's like, I'm going to stay away for a bit. Even with kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, I know ONE's smashing and they're doing a great job with that. But maybe he knows, like, yeah, I got the stuff on Fight Pass and I'm seeing what kind of viewership they get. It's not as high as a freaking Power Slap. So let me just put in my investment in Power Slap and let that just explode like how it has been organically. You know what I mean? Because I reckon if like, combat jiu-jitsu or something that's been on Fight Pass, got massive skyrocketed views, he would be like, okay, I'm going in. And I think he's just looking at the data and like, yeah, cool, let that run in the background, but it's not getting the views to actually make me work again. Like he's working, he's doing all these press conferences and stuff for Power Slap, you know what I mean? Like he's doing for the UFC. The level of investment in there, and I think he's just a smart businessman. Like, people want to say that he's this and that, a clown or whatever, because he talks about gimmick fights and then he does that. He's a businessman and he's smart about what he's doing. So let's not kind of like forget who made the UFC. He was a big part of it. And even MMA, let's be real, man. I don't know, but if it weren't for him and the Fertitta brothers and the UFC, would all these other organizations be as big as they are? Because would they have been able to market as well as the UFC or without the UFC? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Front runners, man. Front
Big
runners.
things, yeah.
It's true. Like that's why I feel like when they say like 30 years anniversary and stuff, like you might take it for granted, but they are like the trailblazers of this whole, like sport. Obviously Bruce Lee is the godfather of MMA if you want to look at it like that. But in terms of like actual having the product, in front of us, the UFC are the guys to do it, guys and girls who did it. So yeah, absolutely. Like, but we hear many things from Dana, like conflicting things, shooting people down, and then so on, so on, so on. But it's all for the house, isn't it? He's all for the business, and that's what he is. He's a great politician for UFC. Huge.
No
Massive.
doubt, no doubt. I mean, he made some valid points about PFL. It's like, I know, like, people are like, why are you criticizing Ngannou and whatnot and the PFO? It's like, I mean, that part I don't know anything about, right? That's Dana and but he just said, like, can they maintain a business? End of the day, they gave Ngannou a great contract, great deal, all this sort of stuff. Okay, cool. Amazing for Ngannou. Historical for the MMA heavyweights and MMA. How can you maintain that business? If you can, brilliant. If you can't, that's one contract you gave to Ngannou. What about the rest of the fighters and whatnot? You say you're invested in fighters. If you don't have a business, how do you invest in fighters? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, how do you invest in fighters if you don't have a business? So it's interesting. I think he's got a valid point in regards to that. But we shall see. Like, we will see. But I don't see anyone taking over the UFC. I know people say Chatri and ONE FC can get there. I don't think so. I think he'll be a strong second, but I just don't see in regards to the market machine, the pay-per-view numbers, the profitable business, it'll be as profitable as the UFC in regards to pay-per-view numbers, in regards to ticket sales, maybe viewership, they'll smash them, right? Because it's easier to watch those. But outside of that, but again, I don't know nothing about the business, man. I don't know nothing about the ins and outs. I'm just looking at the numbers that I've seen out there. But it's definitely, and maybe I'm biased as well because I love the UFC, but it's definitely the king of the organizations.
Iron Fist tournament.
That's it.
Listen, for me, I'm just happy that we're able to get this stuff, and it's accessible and it's fun, and there's a market for everything now. We've got one who do Muay Thai and BJJ and MMA and this and that, and UFC does their thing, and everyone's got their pockets which they're doing. So I'm happy as as an observer to just get access to this shit, man.
For sure, man. For sure.
Way back when I was an Urban King, there was a division. There was MMA guys and there was the Muay Thai guys, and they didn't really have much to talk about. And I could speak to the MMA guys because I knew that knowledge, but the Muay Thai guys, I didn't really know Sai Chan and all these other people. So there was just not much of conversation. And I'm obviously long out of that environment, but at least I can kind of get a chance to see Muay Thai stuff more often and see that. And years ago I was unable to. So I'm just like happy as a fan that it's just there. And now I can have these conversations like Rod Tang and so on, and like know these because they were like kind of in a pocket universe on YouTube, to watch them before. Like I'm talking about 10 years ago. You probably there's sites and stuff, but it wasn't just out there. Now, one click and you get everything you need. So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it. And I think like you said, ONE FC done a great job of making Muay Thai a very popular sport, which it should be. It's freaking one of the best
Absolutely.
striking forms out there. So it's super exciting. But you got karate combat as well, basketball and karate combat, and that's getting really popular. There's a lot of investment in that as well. It's super fun. I think there's so much in regards to combat sport these days. Just if you're a fan, if you're into that stuff, it's just enjoyable. There's so much to watch. Not enough time. That's what I keep saying about content. Even I was talking to my brother yesterday on the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Just not enough time. Like there's so much content of things that we enjoy. It's the same thing with MMA. There's so much combat sports out there. I don't have the time to watch all of them and invest time in all of them. Otherwise, you'll be sitting in front of your screen all day, every day, never doing anything. There's no time, but it's just enjoyable. It's nice to know it's out there.
Absolutely. Did you manage to catch the Haney Lomachenko fight?
It's still in a chance.
No,
No.
it
Did you
wasn't
watch it?
Robert. It
Did you
wasn't
watch it?
Robert. It wasn't
Yeah.
Robert. Yes, definitely that something was extremely incorrect there. Like they were not watching the same fight. They
Damn.
can't be watching the same fight.
I feel like this decision, this robbery that everyone keeps talking about, it's like it's everyone saying it. It's not like one person saying, "Oh, it was kind of close." Everyone is saying it. Like he got robbed.
He got beat up. He beat up Haney, man. He beat him up.
Crazy.
He beat him up. Like he almost I think he rocked him briefly, and like he was just in a bad situation. Like it wasn't one-sided, but it could have been. Like there were certain rounds where he was get like Rock'em Sock'em, just cook. He was getting it. He was giving it to him, man. Like I'm telling you, like it's unfathomable that you would give that to Haney. Unfathomable, unprecedented to do that because for me it was a majority decision to Lomachenko, in my opinion.
Damn. Well, again, I don't know much about boxing, but the one thing I keep hearing is like that's boxing. Like when yep, that's boxing. Like just the corruption or just the way they try to bring up fighters and all that sort of stuff. That's what everyone says. I mean, it's crazy.
He is up and coming dude as well, so it makes sense to push him, but at the same time, like we all saw what happened.
Yeah. And what I love about the UFC, again, I'm going back to that, is like if there was a decision like that, the commentators, Rogan, Cormier, like they're like, are you like they talk about it, like, are you serious? Like what are the judges watching? Whereas I heard on that one, the commentators were trying to dance around it and all this sort of stuff, trying to say it's a bit close and whatnot. Yeah, so it's like, even the commentators are not being honest about it. That's why that's why there's all this boxing just being boxing basically.
And like you said, Dana doesn't really try to mess with boxing too much, maybe because he knows those things. I mean, he has the ability to jump into boxing as and when he wants to, aka Conor and Mayweather, or John Jones versus Tyson Fury if he wants to do that. But yeah, like boxing is messy, and that situation, like looking at that, it gives you an example of why boxing hasn't moved on from certain things. That shouldn't happen,
Shit. All right, cool, man. Cool. Well, anything else any other news, bro? Like, I mean, before we call it a day, before we call it anything else?
Not fighting wise. What you told me about Fast 10? Ray Stevenson, that was you already did your tribute on the other one.
Yeah, we spoke about it.
Right. Is that Punisher movie even worth watching? Like,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke about it on the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Okay. As a Punisher fan, and as you all know, I am a Punisher fan, 100%. Right? It's a comic accurate Punisher movie. Right? The Netflix show gave you character building and it gave you a relationship with Punisher. Okay, cool. That's cool. You need that. You want that. Right? You got 2 hours to put Punisher on the screen. It's a comic accurate Punisher movie. It's like an episode of the Punisher, an issue of the Punisher. And he does what Punisher does. It just kills bad guys. There's no remorse. And there is character building in there. You see in that movie the trauma he's going through based on his family. in that movie. Spoiler, actually, you haven't seen it. I'll tell you to watch it.
It's an
Just
old movie, man. I'm not. You're not spoiling anything for me. Go
yeah,
on, go on.
he accidentally kills an FBI agent who's undercover, and it fucks him up. And he tries to help the FBI. He's not. That's what I'm saying. He shows his morals and all that sort of stuff. So it's great character building. Ray Stevenson looks great as the Punisher. Slick back hair. It's like from one of my figures here, one of the older things.
Yeah.
Slick back hair, look perfect. So definitely, as a Punisher fan, it will. Thing is though, if you're a Punisher fan and a Marvel fan, if you're a Punisher fan, you enjoy it. If you're a casual Marvel fan, then it's not for you. And if you're just a normal person, then you're not going to enjoy it, right? It's a comic accurate Punisher movie because he just destroys everyone with no remorse, no hesitation, bang, head blown up from shooting a dude with a bazooka and shit like that. Straight out of comics, man. It's crazy. So it's worth watching, but you don't expect an Oscar-winning, emotional. Oh my God, I want a character build. Don't expect that. Just expect an issue from the Punisher who goes on a mission and just kills people who deserve to be killed in his eyes.
Jigsaw is the big bad in this one, isn't
it? Yeah.
You know that there's about four people play Punisher. You know that?
Yeah. Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, John Bethnal. Yeah.
Have you seen the original one with Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren, yeah. That a long time ago. I mean, that's just worth watching from back in the days. It was kind of funny. He even had the logo. But his knives had the skull on it and all that sort of stuff. And I think it was more the Yakuza based sort of movie. But yeah.
Okay. Not worth watching.
As a Punisher fan, yes. If you're not a Punisher fan, then no, you wouldn't have,
Okay.
Yeah.
So and he's not fighting Jigsaw in that one.
No. He's more the Yakuza.
Different bad guy. Okay. I just wondered because I'm like, I know you're a big fan, and obviously he passed, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have a look at some of these movies I haven't seen before, just to take it in, So that's why I'm asking these questions. But all right, I'll check it out. I have a long flight anyway.
Definitely. Cool, man. All right. Well, look. Let's call it there. Next week we got some fights, so we can dig into the fights that we see and whatnot. Today we just wanted to kind of catch up, talk about big fights, and just geek out as we normally do. But on that note, take it easy, people. We out. Peace.
We out.
All right, let me stop this recording.